Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do one more quick video today, one that has to do with the remainder of my April TBR. I read kind of like random books at the beginning of this month, and then I decided I wanted to do kind of like my own challenge because I haven't done one yet, and I'm gonna call it the number challenge because I thought of like, what is everybody thinking about right now in today's day with everything going on, and it's that we're counting down the days to get back to work, to get back to normal. And I was already reading a book with a number in it, so I thought, why don't I make the rest of my TBR to read all the books on my shelf with numbers in the title. So it turns out I only have 5 or 6 books with numbers in the title, but I thought I would knock them out because what better thing to do than make a challenge for yourself when you're stuck at home doing nothing anyway. And I know it was part of a readathon, I think, back in the day on BookTube, but this was before I had my own channel, so I didn't get to do it. I thought, let's knock them out. They've been on my shelf for quite some time now, so might as well get to them and make a fun challenge out of it. So the first book I'm going to talk about, I actually just finished, and I was super stoked to read this one because Peter Swanson is one of my favorite thriller authors, and that is 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson. This book is a thriller about this bookstore owner named Malcolm who years prior compiled this list of what he believed to be 8 perfect literary murders. Sometime after the article is written, an FBI agent reaches out to him to discuss these murders because there are similar murders occurring that seem to match his list book by book, copycat style. And so the story goes on to investigate those similarities and why it is that they're using Malcolm's list to perform these murders. And of course, along the lines, they discover some crazy stuff, and we also learn more about Malcolm's character and kind of why he is the way he is. So because I've already read this book, I have a review coming. I'm not going to talk too much about what I felt about the book, but I will say that if you do plan to read it, there are some spoilers for the 8 books that he chooses for that list, so be mindful of that before going into it. The next one I literally just finished yesterday, and I talked about this in my previous video, but I'm saving my review again for my wrap-up at the end of the month, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, who I'm just going to say is my new favorite author. I absolutely love her. So for a brief summary, Monique Grant is a small-time magazine reporter who takes on the daunting task of interviewing the reclusive Hollywood icon Evelyn Hugo. Evelyn Hugo is ready to share her truth about her 7 marriages and all the bits of scandal and glamour that weaved between those years. So again, I'll talk about this in my monthly wrap-up, but it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite books. The next book on my list I did read, but it was a very long time ago. I want to say like 10 or 12 years ago, and I just remember that it was easily one of my favorite books, and I've talked about this for years, and that's 20 Boy Summer by Sarah Auckler. The cover is just so pretty. It's sea glass because it's set on a beach. So this is a YA fiction novel about 2 best friends, Anna and Frankie, where they have plans to spend 20 days on a beach, and in those 20 days they hope to meet 20 boys and hope that Anna meets and finds her first true romance. But what Frankie doesn't know is that Anna already had her first romance, and that was with her brother, who unfortunately passed away a year prior. And like I said, Frankie doesn't know. It was a secret between Matt and Anna, and obviously there's some hard-hitting issues in here. I remember that this book pulled at the heartstrings big time, and that the writing was so beautiful, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one again. So there's 3 books that I haven't started yet, and this one has been on my TBR for a while. Like I said, most of these have, and so because it has a number in the title, it's being read next. And that is The Girl in 6E by A.R. Torr. This has been talked about by many. It's a thriller, so right up my alley. I started the first chapter recently, and I've already kind of like been a little tentative in continuing reading it. So it's a dark and edgy thriller about this girl who has been a recluse for like 3 years or something, and she's shut in because of this fear that she has that she will potentially kill somebody. She's like obsessed with death and murder. And so because she's shut in, she's made a life of the internet, utilizing any part of the internet she can, and the way she gets her money is she's like a cyber sex worker. I guess that's what I don't really know what the name is or the term is for that, like a internet sex girl or something, I don't know. But like I said, I already started this one, and the first chapter was a very descriptive and vivid scene in which she is performing her internet duties to get the money that she makes. Hopefully I can get past that aspect of the book. I know it's probably like a pretty dominant feature in here, and hopefully I can get through that to then get to the thrilling parts of it, but we'll see. The next one I briefly talked about in my most anticipated reads for this year, and that's The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. And I believe I'm going to start this one next because I'm in the mood for a good mystery. So this is obviously about the death of Evelyn Hardcastle, and it happens at this elaborate party that they're hosting, and filled with many guests. And so Aidan Bishop, one of the guests, has to identify the killer by reliving that day, but by waking up in the body of one of the other guests each time until he finds the murderer. I'm really excited to read this one. I know it's very popular. And then I just briefly mentioned this one by James Patterson, and that's 13-Minute Murder. It's my only other book with a number in it, so I figured I might throw this one in the mix if I have time. Again, this one's 3 different books, so I don't know if I should just read the ones with the numbers in it and then kind of put it away for later. But in here there's Dead Man Running, 113 Minutes, and 13-Minute Murder. So maybe I'll just read those 2, and I don't know what they're about, honestly. 113 Minutes seems that it's someone's son's been murdered and she's taking the law into her own hands. And then 13-Minute Murder is about Michael Ryan, who is offered a rich payout to assassinate a target in Harvard Yard, and then his wife goes missing. So might be a quick read since there's 3 books in here and it's only like 400 pages. Maybe I'll throw them in at the end of the month. We'll see. All right, guys, that's all for today. Thank you for joining me. And if you happen to do this challenge, let me know in the comments below what books you choose with numbers in them, and let me know your thoughts, and maybe I'll pick them up too. As always, stay safe, and thanks for watching. Bye, guys.